Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito just laid the smackdown on the Democrats in Congress who are trying to regulate the Supreme Court. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. So Justice Alito was talking to the Wall Street Journal in an exclusive interview where he said, hey, look, basically hands off the Supreme Court. See, the Democrats have passed this act in which the Supreme Court would be regulated, would have to give financial disclosures. Some justices would have to recuse themselves from certain cases. It's rather ridiculous, and it would even create a lower court to judge cases against the Supreme Court, which is nowhere in the Constitution. Now, this lower court would decide which judges have to recuse themselves from cases. It would be a 5-panel team of judges from lower courts. They would decide which judges have to recuse themselves from cases, and get this, the cases would be brought by regular people just like you and me that says, I want Samuel Alito off this case. I want Thomas off this case. And then these judges would have to decide that. You know how many cases would be brought by liberals and conservatives who want certain judges off of cases just because they feel like they should? I mean, there's over 300 million people in this country, and everybody would be allowed to bring a case. It's absolute lunacy. Here's the hilarious part. The hilarious part is that if this act was passed, and it passed the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, but that's it so far. But if it was passed, and if it somehow passed the Republican Senate and was signed into law, it would be challenged, most likely. That challenge would go through the courts, right to the Supreme Court, who would then decide if they want it to be regulated. It's ridiculous. This is a complete waste of time and money. It's a complete waste of resources for something you know the Supreme Court, unless they're insane, is going to smack it down anyway. So what's the point? But I like what Alito said. He said the Congress did not create the Supreme Court. The Constitution did. And he's correct. The Supreme Court is created in the Constitution. Now, you can argue if Congress has oversight, but the prevailing wisdom is that it does not. The Constitution explicitly gives Congress oversight over lower courts and even allows them to abolish those courts. But the Supreme Court appears to have ultimate jurisdiction over itself. Now, of course, this is an unsettled constitutional question, but who would settle it? The Supreme Court would settle it, right? So I don't see it going anywhere. Now, Alito said that normally justices sit back when they're the subject of political attacks and they let other people defend them. But in this case, he said nobody's doing it, so he felt the need to defend himself, although he didn't speak for the other justices. Still, this whole thing is crazy. This whole thing is crazy. This is all because, in my opinion, Democrats are getting decisions they don't like from the Supreme Court, and so now they want to hurt the Supreme Court. They don't want to, quote-unquote, protect our institutions when those institutions don't give them what they want. Isn't that interesting? All of this is an exercise in futility anyway. It's going nowhere, and if it does, the Supreme Court is likely to smack it down to begin with. I give Justice Samuel Alito a lot of credit for actually taking the step to talk to the Wall Street Journal, for taking the step to do the interview, to step out in front of this thing and say, no, stop this. This is absolutely nonsense. And ultimately, Democrats are going to have a liberal court. That's most likely. That's what happens, you know. Courts go conservative, they go liberal, time changes things. Are they going to have the same concerns then? Probably not. Folks, I want to know what you think about this. Should there be congressional oversight in the Supreme Court? Should there not be? Is Samuel Alito correct? Let me know in the comments. Also, please remember to like, share, and subscribe because that really helps us out. Again, I'm Carmine Sabia, and this is Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody.